top left-hand corner of side Delta, we have our South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss, the red Protoss player representing CranKy Esports. It is Trap. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It's time to get your gamba going, as predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Will it be Trap? Will it be ByuN? Again, Trap has been on fire as of late. He's been getting better and better results and been taking down some big names in the process as well. But likewise, ByuN has also been on that grind for quite some time. He's been able to embrace quite a lot of these online tournaments. Last week, ByuN was less active. If you're curious as to why ByuN was less active last week, if you recall, if you're following ByuN on Instagram, then ByuN did post that he was out in the world climbing a mountain. He went mountain climbing with Creator, so they were out there touching grass. They were having a good time together, a nice time outside. That was last weekend, but now they're back. ByuN, after spending a week in the mountains, he's enlightened. He has returned. And can he win the KSL? I mean, hey, he is, one of the big names. I say he's one of the big names. There are so many big names in this tournament. There's Dark, there's Hero, there's ByuN, there's Trap, there's Creator, there's a lot of competition. There's Shin. Speaking of competition, we're Proxy. It's going to be a Proxy gateway here from Trap. We have the initial Zealot. Now, the way this works here is that I believe this should be a double Zealot opener. Once this Cybercore finishes, we can reinforce with an Adept. The Adept can shade across the map to get across the map a little bit faster, and this gateway can make a Stalker. There it is. We have the Adept, and we have the Stalker. Again, the Stalker gets across the map faster because of the Proxy, Adept because it can shade across, so it is faster to reinforce than the Stalker. So Trap just sending everything across the map. It's going to be a 1-1-1, 1 Zealot, 1 Stalker, and 1 Adept. The initial Reaper has arrived, does come across the Zealot. ByuN does turn back around. And he forces the cancel. Nicely done here, Trap. He does lay the expansion. ByuN going 3cc behind this. Shouldn't be a surprise. If you're familiar with ByuN, especially on side Delta, he is known for 3cc 3 racks. It is a very popular build of choice for ByuN on side Delta in this matchup. But he's being punished because this is greedy, and he has only 2 Marines to defend. Depot's under fire because he just repaired time! The Depot goes down, Trap, he busts on in. First Marine falls, there's 1 Marine left. 1 Marine and 1 Reaper. Reaper gets targeted down, Reaper does fall. Oh, nice KDA charge. 1 Stalker gets surrounded. Very nicely done. 1 Stalker will get surrounded, the Dev gets surrounded as well. ByuN trading as best as possible, takes down 2 of those units, there's 1 Marine remaining. But GG gets called, there's just too much damage too early on, and Trap takes game 1. GG. I love this build of choice by Trap because, as we mentioned, ByuN, he's known for 3cc 3 racks on larger maps. It isn't just side Delta, but he does it on, larger maps in general. Speaking of maps like Alkyone, for example, or even Post-Youth, we've seen him go 3cc 3 racks before as well, but most commonly side Delta. So a very smart build here by Trap. If we know what ByuN's going to do, Trap most likely knows what he's going to do as well, so was able to win away, hard counter him with the Proxy Gate. It was a bit of a build order loss, essentially, just because ByuN was being so greedy with his build and Trap was being so aggressive. So did lean and did go the way of Trap in the end. GG, well played. GG, well played. And just like that, Trap is 1 game away from making it to the semifinals. And now ByuN, the question becomes, is he bold enough? Is he crazy enough to go 3cc 3 racks 2 games in a row after being proxied in game 1? Because we're loading into Alkyone. This is another map where you can be greedy like that, where you can cut corners and rush into a 3rd. But do you risk it after what Trap just did? As spawning in the top right-hand corner of Alkyone, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the red Protoss representing CranKy Esports. It is Trap. back. We're good. Gotta risk it for the biscuit. Ah. Does he want the biscuit, though? That's the question. And I see some people asking, like, is it a buff or a nerf when a player touches grass? I mean, if you recall, because it was last weekend that ByuN was out in the mountains, and when he returned, I want to say he was playing in Wordy TV, but he won last week's Rhesus Cup over Hero. It was I believe a 3-1 score where ByuN was able to bring Hero down in a best of 5, so a very impressive result there by ByuN. Did pop off during the week, but now is stumbling out the gates. What I will say is that game 1 didn't really show us anything when it didn't really do ByuN justice, just because it was a build order loss. Like, essentially, it was build order loss. Like, what could he do? Like, well, what can we do, Pappy? The mind games, the build order loss was brutal. Now, I'm sure we're going to be seeing a more back and forth. As Trap is going for an economic opener, so is ByuN. So ByuN going for the rank expand. We'll get the CC on the low ground, and is not going 3cc this time. So ByuN is not being as greedy as he tried to be last game. He has been tempered. He has been kind of put on notice, and I'm sure Trap is, I mean, he's looking good. Looking good here off the bat. In the mind of his opponent a little bit here. Now, ByuN is still cutting his own corners in his own way. He might not be going 3cc, but if you didn't notice, ByuN did not SCV scout. There's no SCV scout, there's no Reaper scout either, as it was Marine first, so ByuN is still being greedy. Not as greedy as last game, but greedy nonetheless. Just cutting some corners, going to the Marine, going to the factory. Really kind of playing in the dark initially. And that is why the Hellion is so important here for ByuN. ByuN has 0 scouting information, and he's going to have to rely on this Hellion moving out to give him that information he needs. So you get a read on the opener, the tech, whether it's a Stargate, Robo, or Twilight Count. Meanwhile, the Adept has arrived, dipping into the main, or at least trying to. The Adept is going to be denied. Nicely done by ByuN, takes on the first Adept. Second Adept likewise taking a lot of damage as well. Get his own trap to try and focus on that Hellion. Oh, the Hellion takes a lot of damage. Hellion takes a lot of hits. Does rotate around. Behind this, ByuN going for a Widowmine drop. I say Widowmine drop. There's one Widowmine and a handful of Marines, so it's going to be a bit of a kitchen sink here with Mass Marine Widowmine. This can do a lot of damage. We have seen both ByuN and Maru fall in love with this opener at the start of the year. It was very commonplace to go for a single Widowmine and Mass Marine, and the purpose of this, as he's moving out across the map, is for the Widowmine not to get economic damage. Ideally, the Widowmine zones away the gateway unit because it one-shots, whether it's a Stalker or a Adept, it can one-shot the unit, and then the Marines, they focus on the economy instead. As the drop does get across the map, Trap behind this going for a third Nexus. Nexus has been thrown down. ByuN is still making his way towards the main. Trap will spot this. Very fortunate timing with the probe. Trap is aware, but nothing in position. ByuN does dive in. And again, ideally, he shouldn't waste the mine shot in the mineral line. Oh, does on burrow. But it is going to be targeted down. Widowmine does fall. And Trap will defend. So it was a nice unborrow by ByuN, but because of that, the Widowmine was focused down without a single shot going off. Trap defends, ByuN backs up. But at least ByuN is now aware of the opener. He saw the Stalkers, he should piece together that, of course, it is Blink. Blink is done. Trap moving out across the map. Of course, with Blink, with high ground vision, Trap can dive into the main, and the main is going to be that much more exposed. ByuN getting into his 3-1-1 setup. First tank is done at the natural, but there's no tank in the main. Not for a couple of seconds. Trap dipping in. Will delay the Rex. Getting 2 SCVs. Going for the tank. Can he get it? Up. He can. Oh my god. Massive pick of 1 tank for 1 Stalker. A very nice trade for Trap. Meanwhile, across the map, drop comes back in. Stalkers get out. But the drop does get 1 Stalker kill. And another 2 probes as well. Not a bad trade by ByuN. He wants more probes. And he does get a handful of them. That's 4 probes going down. The Hellion had gone into the natural. Not bad. But I will give the slight edge to Trap here in the trades, just because Trap did get a tank. And that does mean that ByuN, his move out is going to be that much less impactful, and this third base is that much safer as a result. Very, very safe third here for Trap. Now moving out. See someone in the chat asking, what hell is this bracket? 2 Zerg, 1 Terran, 8,000 Protoss? That is most brackets. If you tune into like European events, NA events, Korean events, they are mainly Protoss populated. That's just the distribution of players in general. Just more Protoss than anything. It's standard. It's what we expect in StarCraft. We got Trap coming in. Double jump towards the natural. Trap up. Gets a full medevac. Oh my god. Full medevac goes down. Very nice pickoff. Trap, calm down. Oh my god. Not like this. Takes out a full medevac. Dives in. This time Trap does overextend for a moment. Nice blinks. Does get away. ByuN committing across the map, has that one tank, has a good amount of marauders. Stim is done. But Trap so far doing a great job of just slowing him down. Gets another Widow Mine. Very nice pickoffs. ByuN pushing forward. Storm is done. Ooh, and oh my god, a massive storm in the army. Yeah, ByuN has to get the hell out of there. Bleeds off most of the Marines. Has to pull away. Trap getting in position. Trap has 1 storm with this army. He wants that tank. He's gonna get it. Tank goes down. Trap, he can keep pushing. He has that 1 storm. Doesn't want to waste it. Doesn't want to waste the storm. Pulls away. He pulls back. ByuN getting his third base up and running. So is Trap. More High Templar are amassing. Prism's on the way. This War Prism does tell us that Trap does want to break out. Alas, he can't really reinforce without the War Prism. So he's going to be waiting. ByuN getting to his ghosts. I mean, storms are good, but EMPs can be better. ByuN just needs a little bit more time. His first ghost is on the way. Trap diving in. Not too many Zealots to work with though. Trap overextending. More Zealots are required. Speaking of Zealots, they move that across the map, but last ByuN is ready to intercept. Trap does defend. Sorry, ByuN does defend. You get what I mean. ByuN deflects Trap. And so far, ByuN is doing a great job here of vying for map control. 4th base now being taken for Trap. But Trap now with the War Prism can commit. There's 4 High Templar behind this, each with 1. Each with at least 1 storm. Interesting, Trap going for a drop into the main. And he pulls back with his main army. Again, pushing up a ramp into a concave, into Ghost with EMPs. That's not going to end well for Trap. Likewise, Prism is denied. Vikings in position. Prism goes down. ByuN holds. ByuN holds, getting his own 4th CC. Double expanding, getting a 4th and a 5th. Ghost production well underway, and the game will progress. Despite the pickoffs that Trap had earlier, alas, ByuN has recovered. And now I'm a little bit more concerned for Trap. Trap is relying quite heavily on these High Templar, and he has yet to diversify his splash damage. I'm referring to going to more Colossus or Disruptors, so he's less vulnerable to these EMPs. But Trap isn't there yet. They'll sneak by with some Zealots, but this reinforces back at home. Trap, his entire army rotates around, and we could end up in a weird base trade. Trap, he does get eyes on the main force in the center of the map. Going for the CC. ByuN does respond. He pulls back. CC under fire. Takes out a Ghost. EMPs! Oh my god, EMP grazes the army. And Trap, he's going to be trapped here. He's stuck. Forced to recall. And so many Stalkers go down. Immortals as well. The High Templar. High Templar falling as well. To two Marauders. Not like this. 3 of them do escape, but just barely. And you can see Trap plummet in supply. That kind of pseudo base trade, that maneuvering from Trap was not worth it. Not at all. Now ByuN is almost maxed. ByuN is almost maxed out, getting another High Templar. And Trap just doesn't really have much going on here. The storms are the only thing keeping ByuN back, and not a bad storm. Not bad. Storms have been popping up whenever they do connect. Storms have been good. And we have 2 more storms in the chamber. Trap pushing in. Has now been able to reinforce with Zealous. Trap, he was vulnerable, he was exposed. Oh my god, and a massive storm here on the Xel'Naga. Trap was given enough time, and now he has a comparable army here to ByuN. Despite ByuN catching the army earlier, ByuN, he didn't push into any of the bases. He did not take a fight. And ByuN, he may have missed his opportunity. Once again, Trap pushing in. Once again, Trap does threaten. Coming in with the storms. The mine! Oh my god. Calm down. Prism taking a lot of hits, forced to storm on the Vikings. Very risky moves here by Trap. Calm down. And finally, we have Colossus. We are making 2 Colossus at a time. We spoke earlier, it is so risky to play with Storm or to play with High Templar like this, where you're only relying on a handful of them. And the only thing keeping the Terran player at bay. But Colossus production has begun. At the same time, ByuN has plenty of Vikings. Making 4 at a time. Let's see if ByuN can break through. Gets a good EMP on the Immortals. Storm just zones away. Nice spread here by ByuN. But here come the Viking Storms. Oh my god. And Massive Storm does connect. And there's 2 more storms left in the chamber. 2 more storms left. Keep going. EMPs, they do take down 1 High Templar. It looks like that was the final storm for Trap. He has to back off. He has to back off. He has to regroup. Did lose a handful of workers. Getting more High Templar. But without any EMPs, the Trap, he can break through this. Oh my god! A massive EMP did connect, took down every single High Templar. Now just a Colossus. Gateway army is trying to break through. Colossus goes down. Yeah, Vikings landing behind Trap. And it looks like, does ByuN have enough? It's so close. It's so close with reinforcements. ByuN, yeah, he will hold. ByuN, he barely does hold on. Takes down every High Templar. Takes down the Colossus as well. And Trap, he only has a Gateway army left. Barely an army. Also, I'm noticing some frame drops as well. I will fix that in the next game. We'll get on that. I say frame drop, just low FPS in general, I think is a better way of putting it. We'll get on it. Oh, meanwhile, Trap gonna be trapped once again. Pinned against the wall, decent storms. The storms are good, but I think that was the final storm for Trap. And again, without any storms, ByuN will overwhelm. Takes down the Archon, gets into the mineral line. And Trap, he just barely can't keep up. He's holding on by the skin of his teeth with every single warp in. He's forcing back ByuN. But the efficiency of ByuN's army is just too much. Again, Gateway units, they just don't scale well against this. They can't scale well. Without a backbone to Trap, he just topples over. It's the overcharge. ByuN just still rallying across the map, landing more Vikings. EMP on the Stalkers. the expansion is going to fall. Behind this trap, he's trying to rebuild. He's getting more Colossus once again, but ByuN is almost maxed out. Like, ByuN has just so much supply to work with. He can just keep going. Another EP. The Colossus are putting in a lot of work. No Vikings, true. Colossus, they can do well for themselves. And technically, I mean, there is a chance here, especially if ByuN does overextend. But ByuN, he pulls away. Pulls back, War Prism into the main. Massive EMP goes off. Forcing a recall. Salaramai doesn't get much done. Does delay reinforcements. And ByuN just took down the gold, and now he's going for another expansion. For another base. There's no shield battery. No overcharge. Massive EMP on the Colossus. ByuN, he wants them. And again, the EMPs, they're brutal. This time, not a single storm will connect. And GG gets called. ByuN ties up the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Again, Trap definitely had some strong moments, especially early on. Did have some strong moments. Oh. Hopefully we're okay. Okay, here we go. Did have some strong moments early on, but eventually ByuN stabilized. Eventually ByuN, he was able to stabilize, and a big moment, if you recall, was when Trap overextended. We saw that moment when Trap, he rotated towards the linear fourth base, when he tried to skirt around the edge of the map and avoided the main army, and that just meant that Trap got surrounded. Trap, he got surrounded, ByuN, he came in from behind and from the front as well, and Trap, he lost almost everything there for not much at all. He lost most of his Gateway army, he lost most of his High Templar, and from that moment, ByuN gained a lot of momentum they never really let go of. Trap was able to rematch from there, was able to, I should say, try to maintain his production, his army, but still, it wasn't really able to keep going. And with that, GG, we're going to the ace match. We're going all the way to game 3. It all ends here. It all ends on Ghost River. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ghost River, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red. Oh, look how smooth it is. Look at that. Oh, all the frames, they're back. It is Trap for Gen G Esports. Here we go. Alright, gonna be settling in. And honestly, this series could end either way. Game 1, we didn't really get to see much out of either player. Did just suddenly end just because of the builds. Game 2 was more of a back and forth. Trap playing with Storm always is a treat, don't get me wrong. But as we mentioned, it's high risk, high reward, just because of how fragile High Templar are and how vulnerable you are to EMPs as well, as we saw. If you can avoid the EMPs, your army can look strong. If not, then it just folds over real quick. So I just had someone saying ByuN was too greedy. I wouldn't say that. I think they're referring to game 1. ByuN just went for his regular builds. Just got hard countered. But I imagine we won't be seeing that here again, as we do see a double gas opener instead by ByuN. For the first time this series, ByuN is going for a factory before command center. So very safe build here by ByuN. I mean, I say safe, this can also turn into a very aggressive build as well. We'll see where ByuN takes this. Technically, a one base all-in is on the table. True. Hello, Trap. What's going on? As Trap does have a probe hidden towards the south. Are we going for a Twilight Council opener? Interesting. Are we crazy enough to go for a Twilight Council? Twilight Council on the way. Are we crazy enough to go for a proxy pylon? Okay. He's coming in for a scout. Okay, we're calming things down. So what I'm alluding to is, yeah, regular adept scout into the main. This probe could throw down a pylon and we could see a proxy dark shrine. That's what I'm leaning towards here, but it looks like there's no pylon. Okay. No proxy, no setup. Looks like just blink. Trap, he got me excited. I was like, what's going on with the probe? Never mind, just scouting. Nothing crazy. And there's that blink. Blink is on the way. Yep, probe is just coming in for a later scout. Did avoid the Reaper. And Trap will confirm that there is a command center. We mentioned before that technically it was possible for this to be a one-base all-in. Now Trap knows that is not the case. Likewise, Trappy was able to get eyes on the add-ons as well. Didn't quite see the factory though. Ooh. As ByuN may opt to go for a Banshee-based opener instead. He's going for the initial Widowmine. So double gas into factory into a Widowmine drop. A little bit more old school. Widowmine drops are less commonplace nowadays. You see them every now and then. This kind of opener used to be very standard back in the day. I say back in the day, I'm referring to even the start of the year. But for those of you that remember, the Widowmine drop was nerfed. It was nerfed. Now the Widowmines do less damage. Their radius is smaller. But more importantly, you also get, or players also get an alert whenever the Widowmine gets a lock on a unit. See the Widowmines, they get one probe kill. Trap does deflect. Trap does defend. But that's the reason why Widowmine drop openers did kind of fall off the meta a little bit more. Specifically these past, what, 6-7 months now? God, the year has just flown by. We're almost done with 2024, Bobby. That's crazy. It feels like the year just started. As the Widowmine drop comes back in, does get another worker kill, 4 in total over the course of this game. But Trap does defend. And now we can settle it. You see ByuN getting into his own 3-1-1 setup on 2 bases, building up his tanks. His tanks are nicely spread out to defend against any Stalker aggression. We have 1 tank in the natural, 1 tank in the main, bunker as well. So ByuN is quite well fortified, even spots the Observer. Oh, nice snipe. Observer goes down, and Trap is stuck at home. Despite the blink opener Trap, he is going to be stuck at home. Ooh. Raven dipping into the natural, getting 2 probes. Oh, not bad. Slowly building up damage over time. It's been 6 probe kills in total. For 2 Widowmines and some energy on the Raven. As Trap is looking to replace that Observer that got sniped and moving out with those Blink Stalkers. Now again, I don't really see much of an opening in the main. I mean, we could try to skirt around the edge and head into the mineral line. Maybe go for some add-ons. Stim is looking a little bit vulnerable, but ByuN, he sees it! Up! He wants it! ByuN gets the Observer again. ByuN, he's crazy. Sees everything. Snipes both Observers. Once again, Trap, he has to retreat, getting in position to deny a drop or the Raven. And behind this, Trap is going for a gateway heavy composition. What I'm referring to as Trap, he did delay the bay. Usually you would get it either before the 3rd or as you're taking the 3rd base, but alas, it was delayed in favor of charge. So +1 charge and a mass gateway explosion is going to be Blink Stalker charge initially, then into later Colossus to reinforce. But it will take a little bit more time for the Colossus to come into play. And ByuN does unsiege. He gets spotted by the 3rd Observer. 3rd time's a charm. Observer spots the army. Observer is supposed to move out. ByuN is pushing. Trap does spot this. He's going to try and slow this down. Picks off 3 Marines. Up. Almost a Marauder. Almost. Does pull away. And ByuN, he doesn't quite like his chances. He's respecting Trap quite a bit. He scans, he saw the surround, he saw the Zealots, and ByuN, he backs off. It's backing off. He's getting a third CC behind this. He's expanding. And so is Trap. As ByuN retreats, that is a cue here for Trap to take a fourth. Takes a fourth base. Hasn't quite seen the third CC yet, but he's checking for the army. Oh! Did ByuN see that? Did ByuN notice as the observer it's hiding amongst the medevacs? Oh, not quite this time. ByuN moving out for a second time, and the observer does spot it. Trap is aware. First Colossus has finally arrived. Zealot Rabbi setting up. But that's a lot of army here. That's 3 tanks, 2 Widow Mines, a good amount of Marauders. Sentries in position of force field. Tanks yet to siege. Nice force fields. Does delay the push. At the same time, Zealots, they hit the natural, but alas, we have reinforcements in position. ByuN defends. I say that ByuN did lose 6 SCVs, so damage was dealt. And most of the Zealots do escape. Same time, once again, ByuN getting caught on siege. Tanks from behind. Sorry, Zealots from behind even. Tanks are exposed. 1 tank goes down. 2nd tank as well. Looks like Trap, he will clean up this army. Takes down all 3 tanks. It will cost him most of his Stalkers, though. Was a costly trade. At the same time, Zealots, they hit the mineral line. 3 more SCVs. That's 9 SCVs in total. Very nice damage here for Trap. And now ByuN, he's in trouble. ByuN has no more tanks. His tank count was reset. His bio count as well. And Trap still has both Colossus. And both Colossus are still up and running. Pushing into the 3rd base. Oh, base out the mine shots. Base out one of them. The other does connect. Good amount of damage here on the Zealots. Boys are being pulled. And against 2 Colossus, ByuN, he's up against the wall. Trap, he can't keep going. Takes out 13 SCVs. More reinforcements have arrived. ByuN, he's in trouble. Again, he lost a little bit too much across the map. Diving in on the Colossus. 1 Colossus almost goes down. Gets the Immortal. Colossus, they're barely kiting back. Oh my god, 1 of them goes down. There's 1 left. 1 Colossus remaining. Prism has arrived, and it looks like Trap has done it. Trap, he has broken the 3rd base. 19 SCV kills. Takes down the main army. ByuN, he's struggling in with whatever he has left. But it's not enough. Not with a War Prism. Not with instant reinforcements. And the 1 Colossus is enough. As 20 SCV kills, a GG gets called, and Trap will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the next round. GG. GG, well played. ByuN is more of a fan favorite, but Trap has been more on fire recently. Again, I mentioned before, but Trap, he did come 2nd place in the most recent Wardy TV festival. Trap took down a lot of big names in that tournament, only to fall to 1, only to fall to Clem in the finals. So understandable loss there for Trap. And here he does maintain his skill, maintain his prowess as he takes down ByuN 2-1. GG, well played. For some context, if you're curious, who did Trap defeat at the Wardy TV Festival? Guys, I've been referencing it, and I've been alluding to the fact that he lost to Clem, and he made it to the finals. On his way to the finals, Trap, he took down Nightmare, he took down Shin, he took down Gumiho, took down a lot of big names to make it to those finals. A lot of strong players, and, I mean, yeah, even here, takes down ByuN. Very well done. Very well played here. Congratulations to Trap. He advances on to the semifinals, and the question becomes, who will face off against him? That is the question. As we switch our scenes over